Thunder Grunt.
Shrimp night. Sneery, are we ready?
Stand by.
All right, we gotta do some
So,
introductions.
yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of an introduction here. Nothing big.
There we go.
I'm Sneery. I'm your hip hop app, yo.
Yeah.
Yo, ready, yo.
Perfect.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Well, first off, I want to say welcome to Thunder Grunt.
Thank you.
This is
Welcome to Thunder Grunt.
yeah.
That's
That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly the
Yeah.
sound we were going for.
Yeah, this is a show on Thunder Grunt called Shrimp Night. It's a chat show where I can talk to anyone I want to, and boy, do I want to talk to the person we have today. Well, first I'm going to say thank you for my guest host, which is Baltimore's own fake Dracula, John Bennett,
Yes,
famous for
Dracula,
dressing like a vampire.
Thank you, man. It looks
I'm
good.
I'm not dressed today as a vampire. I'm dressed like.
I hope he's not hungry.
Apparently.
No, you ate already, right, John?
Yes.
Okay, good. But today I want to welcome a man, a legend to both me and John, who are super fans. A man who was the voice of a Mogwai, a man who has worked with the legendary Mel Brooks, a man who was in every Police Academy movie, Michael Winslow.
One to infinity, yes.
One to
Spaceballs at Mel Brooks. Left ball or the right ball?
Man, oh man.
But
I don't know the answer to that question because I always keep me balls around always keep me balls handy.
That's actually screen used? Is that screen used?
That's the hat?
It's been used on a screen. It's been used in commercials and whatnot. So this
awesome.
is a replica ball.
Replicable. Perfect.
It's also a Bell helmet. So
nice. That's really cool.
You wear that on a motorcycle?
you can.
Not for safety.
Not for safety.
Yes.
You can wear it. It just takes balls to do it.
So the reason I asked John here to be my guest host is because
we have a running debate.
Yes, and there's no other human on this planet that can help us solve it. It's been years long.
Okay.
This has been years, decades.
Years. Literally, we've been arguing, and I feel like you're literally the best person to ask this question. But
Okay.
first,
Arbiter, if you will.
All right.
I want to start out by asking, do you have a favorite Police Academy movie out of all 7?
Oh,
This will help us get to where our argument goes.
that's difficult. That's difficult.
It's a hard question.
Which one of your kids do you like better? I can't really.
You can't really say.
Maybe we could narrow it down by ranking.
The first movie, we didn't know what the heck we were doing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The second movie, we were scratching our heads trying to figure out how did we get here. The third movie said, well, maybe they like us a little bit. This is okay, fine. The third one, interesting. If we make it to, hey, fourth one, this is starting to feel like we got a bit of a rhythm to it, but we've had a different director each time. Now 5. Wow, we're back in LA again from Toronto. Things are a little different.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 6. This time it's in LA. Another LA says City Under Siege. So we were we're still competitive, and we want to figure out what can we do with Academy? What other things could we be a game? Could there be other things? Things were starting to grow, but we also had history. Also, things were also going on, and things were also going on in America's history. Then we get to 7, Moscow. Things are going on in another country. We just happen to be trying to make a movie when suddenly Moscow decided, hey, we're going to blow stuff up.
Right. And arguably also once again relevant.
You're right in the middle, right in the middle of a damn revolution trying to make a movie.
Right.
That's
I'm the only fly in the buttermilk. Interesting.
Right. Really crashes down on you.
Yeah.
I mean, was that like? Did you ever have any sort of personal peril during that time?
Oh, there's a few things. There's a few things that
During seven.
Yeah, Mission to Moscow. Yeah, there's a few things that happened. Some mostly fascinatingly interesting. Some of it is slightly dangerous. Some of it, one or two items, definitely dangerous.
Are you allowed to talk about the dangerous ones, or is that classified?
Well, some of them are personal. You have to understand. People have opinions when you're walking on the street, so you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to give it an analogy, but I can try. Trying to hail in a cab in New York versus
Moscow
versus Moscow. Somebody that was like, hey, I think I'd like to punch that.
Okay.
You see, there are many things to this. There are many different levels of things, but you have to look at the history and the context of where you are. Because remember, at that particular time, Pizza Hut sat 3,000 people.
Oh, okay.
And a Snickers bar was $9
in Moscow.
Yeah. Quarter pounder of cheese was like $23.
So what you're saying is like there could be like a Hearts of Darkness type documentary of the making.
There's a whole different thing. Yeah. But there's more. There's more. And it was an Indian summer and it was really warm. But the temperature was dropping 10 degrees per day. And that was also the same summer that Michael Jackson showed up and played in Moscow. And it was also the same year that all this stuff happened. So there's a lot going on. And at the same time, all of them were Academy fans.
Really?
So
wow, that's amazing.
Well, it did great internationally.
Television was different. Television was different. When they get stuff from the West, when you got stuff from the West, there was usually a person narrating it. One guy on a microphone narrating all the movies that they ever saw.
Yeah. I watched the documentary about that.
Okay, now the girl says, why don't you shut up? I think you're being very mean to me. And now the guy, he's upset about it. He says, maybe me and your mom could talk about it. And now she's upset. Now the dog is barking. Now policemen come to the door.
That's the trailer guy in Moscow back then.
And he's narrating all the stuff that they get.
Yeah, they do all the parts. They literally read all the lines and explain what's going on.
Right, and eventually
the guy reading, smoking.
Eventually it became a voiceover. Eventually, but see, I used to make movies in Germany. I've made at least one movie with Hasselhoff. Overseas.
Wasn't it 2 films? There was like 2 films, or maybe
films.
With the equivalent to Johnny Carson over there. His name was Tomas Gottschalk.
Ah.
And he was like the equivalent to the late night David Letterman. He was like the equivalent of David Letterman in Germany. So we made some movies together, and Hasselhoff was in 2 of them. So you learn a whole different thing about.
And he's a superstar there. So
oh god, yeah,
absolutely.
He was at the Berlin Wall.
Right. Yeah.
The crazy jacket.
I ran into Hasselhoff at the Edinburgh Fringe. Because the times that I did it, I made it in the top 6. But so did he. And he had his own. He also had his own. The car was there with him.
Yeah.
So Kit pulls out and insults him and leaves. So it works out, man. That's what I call cojones.
Yeah.
So the car was the car was it pre-recorded?
I guess.
Just curious.
Same thing. I guess same thing in Killing Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
The car insults. I think it's genius.
That's going to be amazing, right? With Mr. Feeney, right? I forget the actor's name. I just remember
exactly. So in terms of getting in trouble, Moscow, that was the other. You have to understand in context in terms of in Moscow. The other time was when I was wearing wireless microphones. Now you all understand the tech now.
Right. Yeah.
And people are starting to re-understand that. Your Zoomcast and everything else can really, really suck without good audio. We're all learning. We're all learning about audio.
It's an uphill climb. every
So
day, every
we're
month.
learning about this thing called the mini mic. We're learning about lavaliers. We're learning about stuff
Yeah.
when we're podcasting. You're learning about wireless transmitters. We're learning about USB microphones.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah.
we're all relearning about all this stuff. When this tech's been around for a while, and that's me. I'm a Foley stage guy. So
Right.
running around in Moscow, I'm wearing a lavalier mic, battery pack, booster pack, right?
Yeah.
We're in
Yeah.
Gorky Park. We're shooting Police Academy 7. We're shooting the scene in Gorky Park where Jones is riding a bicycle. One of the stunt bikes. He's doing stuff. And I guess the people are trying to take a shot at him from a long ways away, but he's spinning around. They can't get him. So you're hearing all these noises, and I'm wearing the buried microphone, and I'm practicing my noises. These particular pieces of tech, you gotta understand your tech, yo. Well, somebody decided it would be cheaper to bring all the tech from the U.S., all of our transmitter microphones. They figured, oh, it'll be cheaper. We'll just save some money and we'll just give the guys the stuff to wear. Okay? And we'll just, oh, did I forget about changing the frequencies?
Jesus Christ.
So,
Are you?
You're on Russian frequency.
Those are Russian frequencies.
I'm in Gorky Park on the U.S. frequencies on these maps. Yeah. Now,
Wow.
Terrifying.
Scary.
The range is supposed to be 400 yards. Gee, the pack and the battery pack. 6 kilometers. What?
You're literally broadcasting to the
What
Kremlin.
noise?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But what noises? What noises could it be making that would go 6 kilometers and piss off the Russians? Well, let's see. Ha!
I feel like Chappelle right now. So, I did the sound of a dog riding a motorcycle running over a cat while the cat is cursing the dog out in Russian. And all the best dirty CSs and all the possible nasty words. See, the Russians taught me the dirty words first.
And you're doing this into the mic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the noises.
There's a guy writing this down.
Yeah, there's literally like what do they call it? Chatter. They're writing the chatter down.
Just miserably writing. Dog noise. Kid.
So little did they know that
Dog
was coming
noise.
from
So
Police Academy.
Okay. We're going to say 1990s version of WTF.
So a little while later, somebody shows up at the park, at Gorky Park. These 3 guys, I'm practicing, and these 3, we're about to do the shot, and these 3 guys with raincoats.
Oh, no.
And they got these transponded. And they walk up to me, man. It was like, and suddenly I heard some of those dirty Russian words again.
So they thought they found your wire.
Yeah.
They're freaking because I'm wearing a U.S. police uniform with a booster pack with a microphone, riding on a stunt bike.
You look like
Were you far away from the production because you were like on a stunt? So
Oh,
you were a
they
little
can see
bit
what
distance?
was going on. They can't run over to find out what the hell the problem was. But they figured it out. We were on the wrong frequency, and they were supposed to rent any wireless microphones were supposed to be rent from a Yugoslavian production company, in Budapest.
Yeah.
Because
That's where all their electronics come from.
that's the
Right.
that was the proper. They were supposed to rent the mics and the packs locally, so they thought it was as funny as a fart in church.
Well, they basically
I was a
smuggled
Catholic.
American made.
Oh, Academy. Oh, police school. The police school movie people. Okay. Yes, net problem.
Okay.
This is very funny. By the way, for your company, $10,000 fine.
What's that rubles?
I
So
just can't believe you shot it.
320 rubles to the dollar at the time.
Just the fact that you were filming in Gorky Park.
1,300 rubles to the
Oh.
dollar, to $2,300. The way it was fluctuating.
Right.
Right
Yeah.
at that time, they decided, the Parliament building and Yelts and all that stuff was going to happen. And we were there during all that crazy stuff was happening. And we had to stay inside I stayed up inside our hotel while all that.
Yes,
So-
there
so-
was
so-
a coup.
So there was a potential international crisis that could have happened from the filming of Mission
we would
Impossible.
have been able to see. They would have flown us into I think it was Budapest or Bucharest. They would have flown us in. So we would have finished the movie in a secondary studio. They would have flown us out. Warner's would have flown us out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it was interesting to watch. And that same summer, Michael Jackson was there. And that same summer, all that stuff happened. So we had a lot of stuff happening at the same time.
Jesus.
But it was great, man. You got to see some great stuff. You got to see how McDonald's can cycle 3,000 people through there. Pizza Hut, same thing. 2,500, 3,000 people in an hour can cycle through there. You saw how efficiency. You saw how just things were just big.
Right.
Buildings were just big. I mean, I went to the Mazmalova, the flea market there, and it was just 6, 7, 8 blocks that way by 6, 7, 8 blocks that way by 6, 7, 8 blocks that way, and it was all just flea market stuff.
Oh,
Like outside markets and
yeah.
And it was freezing cold because don't forget dropping 10 degrees a day, or it felt like, because once it hit that point, by the time I left, it was minus 23.
Jeez.
And it was like 70 degrees when I got there, and it was nice. And then it slowly turned, and it got cold. It got like cold.
Were you able to?
I mean, I got used to it. I mean, because I've been in Finland recently. I did a whole tour through the entire country of Finland, which it took me 2 months, but we did it. And I got used to the sled dogs in Antarctica, which is great. Sled
dogs in Antarctica.
Yeah, serious. And
in the markets in Russia, could you walk down the street? I know Police Academy had to be huge by then.
Oh yeah,
especially in Russia.
Constantly?
Were you getting mobbed constantly?
Well,
at that point,
we had to have Remember, we were talking about the 1990s,
right?
So you had to have a minder.
Oh yeah.
You had to have a chaperone person at all times.
Okay.
It's a different type of respect. It's a different type of.
So people weren't even allowed to.
It was still a mid-post Soviet sort of thing.
Did you have a regular guy that did it, and did you mess with him constantly?
Well, after a while, they figured it out. After the first time they took me to the casino, they figured it out. You know what
I gotta imagine there's a lot of inspiration at a casino too.
Yeah.
Right? Right.
Thank you. Keep me home.
At a Russian casino too. I can't even
You
imagine.
shouldn't mess around with that stuff, man. You
You can't even get close.
But I gotta tell you, I have a different respect for how things worked. Because I don't even know where to begin in comparison to today's.
I consider myself a big Police Academy fan, and I have never heard these. I guess these have never been told anywhere. Or these aren't on the disc or anything, right?
This is certainly
not necessarily that. Because there were stories that I had, traveling with the executive producer, Paul Meslansky, where we were just on the edge of the martial law cutoff time, and we were trying to get to Red Square, and they stopped us.
Oh no!
That kind of stuff, and they want to know who the hell we were and why are we so close to the cutoff time? So I had to go him Jones, and I went, oh,
No, it's possible.
And were they known as the police school movies there? Is that what, like you said before?
Well,
I don't know if Academy like translates.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
In different languages, it translates different. In Japan, it's and in in the Farsi, it's police school.
Police school, okay.
Police school. Yeah.
And then you have your Academy de Filma.
Now,
And then you're the Academy Kino in Germany. That's Kino. The theater.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say it didn't seem like it would translate everywhere. So
Well, it kind of comes out to police school.
police school, in most places, I guess. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I got stories where a friend of mine was traveling in I think it was in Soweto or something, and he said he was a friend of mine, and the cab driver turns around and goes, "He is very, very popular in my country." Cool.
nice.
That's amazing. Well, I didn't. Yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked. I didn't know all this about Police Academy 7. So yeah,
This is
new to us.
more than
Yeah,
we've ever known about
Police Academy 7. Right.
Which, another one, maybe this time we can make one in Australia, or put us in Hong Kong. No, put us someplace.
Well, just
is
for
there-
the
is-
case of COVID-19, I would say New Zealand would be pretty.
Yeah,
I don't.
Police
I
Academy
think
New Zealand.
Pretty good.
they'd be ready for us. They'd be too smart to let us in. So I think Academy in Australia would be a great movie.
That'd
Yeah.
be fantastic.
And
I
is
would
there
love
still
that.
is there still movement on it actually happening on 8?
I know that there was a script, but I haven't heard
Yeah.
any. That's all
Was there rumblings of a Key and Peele at one point doing it? I remember
Yes,
there was.
that was correct. They were supposed to, and what ended up happening is, I guess they were. I have no idea, but at the same time when that was supposed to come out, or they were supposed to write it or something, Keanu came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh yeah, we saw
Yeah.
that in theaters.
we did.
Gangster Kitty movie came out.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I'm
Big
a
fan.
Gangster Kitty fan. I think that's funny as hell, but
Oh, it's a great movie. Yeah.
it's just hey, listen, when you have scheduling conflicts and design design errors and where you can't where you just can't schedule it. Like I really would have liked to have seen, by the way, Hugo Weaving in the new Matrix, but it's not going to happen.
Right, because he's not. Yeah, he can't do it.
They couldn't schedule it. They just couldn't do it right. And, it's
So
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's still respect.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
And I think
But-
Jordan Peele has found a little bit of a new path too. So who knows though? He could go back to comedy and do Police Academy.
But I gotta hand it to Warner's to have kept this title and it's still going, and in spite of all this happened, it still tries to show law enforcement as human beings.
Mhm.
With the comedy, with human failings and just comedy, and I remember when Mel Brooks was talking about how we could never make another Blazing Saddles. They'd sue us. Whereas I said, well, man, put the lawsuit in the movie.
Right. Make it that meta.
Yeah. Another thing, there has some Kubrick stuff going on where they're chasing you in the actual movie.
Right.
They're picketing you in the movie. Why not?
Right.
Besides, they were picketing the sheriff in Blazing Saddles.
Right.
Yeah. But
We forgot that because the townspeople, even though it was Howard Johnson, one flavor.
Right.
They were protesting the governor.
And they recently put HBO Max recently put a nice history lesson in front of Blazing Saddles.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched it the other day.
I thought that was ironically amusing.
Really? Okay.
was that
Yeah.
was that an influence on your?
All's fair, balance. All's fair and love. You're going to do Gone on the Wind. You got to do Blazing Saddles. Gone.
Right.
Yeah.
All's fair in balance and balance.
Yeah, definitely.
Now,
What were you going to say, John?
oh well, I was just saying, it's like Blazing Saddles. Is that an early influence on you when you started up in the comedy scene?
Well, a little earlier than that. I mean, I was in high school. I had just gotten out of high school, and Blazing Saddles had come out, and I saw it in the theater. And there was only 20. It was on a matinee downtown Denver, I think, and it was a matinee, and there were only like 20 people in the theater, and we were shocked every single even though there's 20 people, they were rolling. It was like a full theater because
Right.
we had no idea that somebody was going to go this far
Yeah.
and
That
pull
direction.
and pull it off and pull it off. You know, it's like, hey, that's like OG. That's gangster. Damn.
Right. Yeah.
And they did it with a straight face, even though they mugged to the camera like melodrama, like mugged to the camera. They still kept a straight face, like.
Yeah, the comedy never flinches in that movie. It never once.
It's relentless. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
film.
relentless.
And even some of the outtakes made it in there. I mean, when the old lady tells Cleavon Little, "Up yours," and she walks off, and he's on the street and he's looking around. And nobody's like, "It's normal." Next scene, he's sitting in the sitting in the jail, and Gene Wilder's like, "What did you expect? Come over to my house for dinner, marry my daughter. You have to understand, these are people of the land. You know, morons." And you're like, oh, and the audience,
Timeless.
what the hell's going on? The theater's going, what the? I mean, the first time seeing it, you're going, what?
I always wondered how that plays in other parts of the country, but you know,
Wow.
That must have been seismic.
yeah, that had to be.
Seismic.
This is 1976.
Yeah,
We're sitting there going, holy keys, because $6 Million Man was cooking at that time, man.
Yeah.
So
Austin was cooking, man, and Fleetwood Mac was rolling, and Earth, Wind and Fire was booming.
right, and then this thing that never been
And rock, Uriah Heep, Jethro Tull, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It was rock. It was Kiss. It was, yeah, man. It was straight up, and Boston was just getting on the scene. Boston.
So
Just hit that guy Tom Stoltz all by himself. Just showed up, and people could scratch it. We couldn't figure out what. All that was going at the same time.
Same time.
Trying to make these movies.
It was just orchestral. Just
I
so
think
much stuff going on.
Yeah, it kind of feels like pop culture like happened. It has peaks and valleys. Let's be honest on pop culture.
And Charlie's Angels was on fire, baby.
Right? Yeah.
But
Well,
I gotta-
when
yeah. No. What I'm saying is, it's like when I first saw you in like Nice Dreams, and
Yeah, man, that was a great movie, man.
Yeah, that was one of our movie. Yeah, that was the Cheech and Chong movie, man.
Yeah, man, that was one of the first jobs, man.
as it was and in the scene in next movie, right, where you're in,
That was one of my first time ever on screen.
And
that scared me to death because there's
to be honest with you too, that's my favorite Cheech and Chong movie.
Nice Dreams, yeah. Nice Dreams. is my
No,
favorite.
next movie.
Oh, next movie? No,
Next
yeah.
movie. Yeah.
We did it without a script. No script.
No script at all.
They had storyboard cartoons they would look at, and then they would place everybody and just let it go. That's very Chaplin. It's very Charlie Chaplin. How Chaplin would do stuff like that.
But yeah, I mean, that whole scene is you making your co-star laugh, pretty much, right?
Oh, Charlie, me, and then
in the office,
and the welfare office, and the old man John Stedman.
Yeah,
sitting next to me. It was, at that time was 80.
Yeah,
80
something. Yeah,
and he had his beard all. And the guy sitting across from us was an actor in a lot of movies. I can't remember the movies he was in, but he was an actor too. But he was wearing a bathrobe. Remember, he was wearing just a bathrobe.
Right, just a bathrobe. Yeah.
And he had a cigarette in his hand, and the ash on the cigarette was that long and would not fall off.
Jesus.
And he would take it.
And that's not part of the production. That's how he smokes, right?
No. They dipped these things in. I think it made him sicker.
Oh, it made him say, okay.
Yeah.
They dipped these things in something to make the ash not fall off. So the guy would take a drag of a cigarette, and he would fall asleep, and he'd burn his knee, and he would wake up, and the old man would go. Meanwhile, every 30 seconds this would happen, and the guy would burn himself again, and the old man would go. and I'm sitting next to Chong, and I'm going. Yeah. I mean, well,
Who's torturing a guy who's nodding off?
Cheech is in the office with the glass with Donna. Hey, Donna. So there's some levels
Oh yeah.
of stuff going on.
This level is that, and
That's improv. That's improv, man.
Is as like they're directing it, but they're really just doing it off the cuff like that.
Yeah.
They did all those movies off the
By
cuff.
the time take 3 or 4 came up, we had it.
That's amazing. I didn't
Just
know that.
let the camera roll.
But
And it was nuts because that scared the crud out of me, man. Because that was improv, and you had to be on it. You had to either have a sick sense of humor or not. Are you with it or not? And I think I was living in my car at the time, so I was on it.
You were ready to play, right?
Yeah. You brought your A game, even if it's in pieces.
right.
yeah.
Right.
We went for it, man.
That second film though, Nice Dreams, is when I first saw
Next movie.
Oh, sorry, next movie? No,
it was a Nice Dreams.
Oh, it's Nice Dreams. Sorry,
yeah. That's when you did the Jimi Hendrix impression, which is
in the
specificity of that is incredible.
That's legendary. Yeah,
legendary. You even do the feedback from the Woodstock recording, and it's just like every little bit of just the reverb, everything you capture in that moment, and you just like capture them so fantastic. And I've seen it live in your live DVD, and it's incredible. It's like I am always floored when you do it, and it's just like the physicality of it, I think, is incredible. Like you inhabit that sort of performance. It's not just the novelty of doing sound impressions. You are that person, and I have to say it is mind-boggling to watch you do it. It's incredible.
Thank you, man.
It really is. Yeah,
and there's more to come. There's more secret things that are coming up soon. So
really,
I ask everybody to stay tuned and keep up with us and stay in touch with us because there's more.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your new project.
Yeah, tell us about what you're doing right now. You got a podcast going? Noisecast, right?
Well, you can see some of the experimental ones that's on Apple Podcasts, and it's on all the platforms. It's called Noisecast.
Noisecast. Okay.
We're going scripted, and we're going to travel, sound travel. We're going to sound travel, and we're going to have guests, and we're going to have we have a crew. We have a specialized space submarine that can travel. It's interdimensional sound travel, so we can go places and we can do things. But
hey, you brought the tech to Moscow early. Why not bring that to Earth early now, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So stand by and on Noisecast because we have a great crew. Some of them are AI, and some of them are not. Be ready. I wish I could tell you some of the folks are coming, but I can't. And now we have to figure out what the new rules are with this whole thing coming up on the 1st of October with music not being able to be, it has to be yours. There's a whole thing.
Right.
We have to be ready for that.
And the new Facebook rules, the new Facebook thing.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
So we have to think about it. So I generate my own music, so I don't think I have a problem with it. Because I'll the noises I generate, I'll just have to register them. But I can generate my own music.
Right, you use the microphone to make instruments. Basically.
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of controversy about it because it's about recorded sound, so it doesn't really specify whether that's sampling, which is hard to be able.
No, it's probably if it's anybody else's music, if it's not cleared, or if it's a whole. I think it might be catching up to the Digital Modernization Act.
Yeah,
so even if you do Jimi Hendrix, it could catch that. That could be
unless it's an original song.
Okay. All right.
All right. Original interpretation. It's a whole different thing.
So it's like a style parody. You could do a style parody. Yeah.
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 It's insane to me. Like now that
do we actually know? We don't.
No, we don't. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just we have these conglomerates now that are just carving up the content right now, and they're setting their stakes. They're creating their territories, and they're kind of making it so that we cannot cross borders here. You know,
I mean,
and
creatively type of thing.
creatively, and
Yeah.
it's very hard for artists right now, especially, you know, considering that the live performance thing is kind of dead right now, honestly. um we have to do this sort of thing because, you know, because of COVID and all
Yeah.
that.
Does Noisecast have it's a video presence, or is it just podcast?
Right now, it's an audio presence,
Okay.
and I suspect we'll go to video presence when other things spin off from it.
Right.
Certainly.
We'll see what happens, because there are other parts of the noise galaxy that we haven't talked about, and
Right. Okay.
some of them I have them already drawn as comics, and you'll see them.
Okay.
And I'm understanding.
excited.
I'm understanding the animation design systems now, and as soon as I figure out this whole AI thing, how I can get myself into an AI thing and cause trouble, I think we'll be fine.
Great.
There's
So,
nobody in the world that we
I
trust
intend to-
that we trust more than you doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I intend to go into the game world because I've done game noises before,
Yeah.
and the 90,000 sounds doesn't work anymore because we're way into the hundreds of thousands now. Because one video game, by the time you've done it, you probably logged in 2,800 different noises because of the layers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like, you know, if you're going to do a game, you don't just do a battle game. You have to do the footsteps of the battle game. You have to do the clinking of the tools and the weapons in the battle game. You have to do the grunt noises of the battle game. You have to do the cart noises of the battle game. You have to do the wood creaking of the carts. You have to do the tools and equipment and stuff rattling in the game. You have to do the horse's hoofs. Then you have to do the horse's grunting. You have to have them timed. So then you have to have people talking between each other as they're going up the hill. Now, how many noises is that?
It's got to be
About
tens
a
of thousands.
At this point, about a
At
dozen.
this point, we're 102, because you've got to spread it out. Then you got to put it in surround. Then you got to fill in gaps. Then you have to have your dialogue.
Yeah.
Then you have to have the actual noise, the actual.
Right.
You have to have all that in there. So,
And then you're dealing with like VR sound now, which is like
Well,
7.1.
binaural, where you
Right.
hear from the left ear stuff on your left.
yeah. So if you want to do the sound of an electric shaver. Or lightsaber.
Yes. Yes. So you've always used a microphone, not just as a microphone. You use it as like part of your instrument.
Yes.
Like the way you use microphones is unlike anyone I've at least ever seen. Like watching your live DVD, you actually have microphones in your mouth at some point. Where did you learn to do that? Like, where did you learn to use the microphone?
Was that just doing live performance?
Yeah.
I watched a lot of those horrid cartoons from the 60s, man. And they worked for me, man. Dick Dastardly and Muttley worked out for me. I'm sorry. But the Wacky Racers made sense to me. Rocky and Bullwinkle were sick people. But they made sense to me.
There's a dark humor to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Tom and Jerry, for some reason, on an orchestral level, made sense to me. Whereas Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam and the Roadrunner and the Coyote were just sibling rivalry. It was just so, it's just so wrong. And
Sure.
then soundtracks to stuff like Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, or Batman, or Green Hornet, or Land of the Giants, or any of those Irwin Allen driven shows, Lost in Space. And Time Tunnel, yeah. And for folks that are into the models, we had Stingray and Fireball XL5 and Supercar and the Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds, yeah.
5, 4, Thunderbirds to the rescue! I'm in, man. So,
It's 100% sound effects plus marionettes, right? Yeah.
yeah. So
How many microphones do you think
man, I'm
Lifetime?
all down with that. So
How many microphones Lifetime do you think you destroyed?
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm curious about. It's like, have you ever been like to a club and it's like, don't give him
destroyed
a
a few.
microphone?
I've destroyed the microphones. I brought my own,
Yeah,
You bring your own.
I figured that you'd have to.
and I
At some
proceeded to
point.
destroy the speakers. So there's the woofers got blown.
What?
And sometimes the tweeters get blown.
That's
Really?
You
Yeah.
broke sound systems.
I mean, I guess I could believe it from like watching you do Hendrix. Like you could blow a speaker like that.
Well,
Absolutely.
I learned how to do that, because I had to like fight, for what little space I had. There was a time that I had to open. Me and Gilbert Godfrey had to open for Toots and the Maytals and the Ramones. So
What?
we had no choice but to step up our game because the Ramones weren't playing. Because they'll check the guitars and do sound check when you're trying to do your comedy set just because they're punk rockers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, I got it.
Yeah, how can you even get a
Gilbert
joke?
figured it out too. We figured it out. All right, fine. Toots and the Maytals was great.
Was it always that cutthroat?
Rastafari! But when the Ramones came out, shut up!
God damn it. God damn it.
Meanwhile,
Okay.
Gilbert's going, oh, great! I'm going to get killed by punk rocker fans! And Winslow makes noises! Yeah, thanks for pointing me out, man.
What's it like working with Gilbert, just in general?
He's great. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Gilbert's dynamic, man. It's a good thing that neither of us could. It's a good thing they don't make buddy cop movies with the two of us, Ooh.
It'd be like a literal feast for the ears, though.
Me and Godfrey
Yeah.
in a cop show or a buddy movie.
Funny comedy, right?
Yeah, where he has to dress up in drag, and I have to go. Like, hell.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about a lot of the Police Academy cast too, was actually based in sound. I didn't really ever think about that, but like Bobcat, right? Michael Winslow, Hooks, there's a lot of sound jokes. Yeah,
It's got a texture to it.
yeah.
honestly.
And it worked out when we did La Valanchulas. That worked out pretty well. We got 2 of those made. So that worked out pretty well with the Academy cast.
How was it like reuniting after all that
Yes.
time, especially
Oh, it's great to see everybody, and I wish there was a way to see everybody again, but it looks like another year and a half or so before we can try to get some normalcy, and comedy will come back, stand-up will come back. It's just that it's going to be a rolling blackout. There'll be places where we will be able to perform, and some places are opening up, and it's just going to be a rolling thing, like ocean waves. It will be
right.
As Pat Morita would say, Danielson, you pay attention. You too much TV.
Oh God damn it.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll be patient. Comedy will come back.
Yeah.
It's just we're going to have to use this medium and allow it to mature.
I think it will.
I think I may have to bring back Saturday morning cartoons, but who knows what's going to happen? So that means I'm going to have to. It means it's just forcing everybody to be artists. I mean, would Michelangelo let somebody tell him he couldn't paint stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
It's going back to the journeyman kind of situation, where
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
you really gotta do those. It's vaudeville again. It's like you gotta.
Yeah, vaudeville.
Perfect your 5 minutes.
Did you ever see the movie Gypsy?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because that was vaudeville was dying a slow death, and the only way out for the little girl Gypsy and her stage door mom, who was pushing her into everything, because the entire stage production company they all split because they couldn't take vaudeville anymore. They all left.
Right.
Yeah.
The only thing she had left was Gypsy, the little girl who could dance, and all they had left was, and Carl Malden was the manager, and he left too. So the only way out of vaudeville was burlesque.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's true.
Gypsy was able to segue into burlesque, but all those show tunes that they sang during those things. I mean, you saw how it was just it was just, vaudeville was just plain dying because this thing called television
Right.
had shown up. So it changed the dynamic of their lives, and you see a lot of that if you watch Gypsy. You'll see how they really had. It was almost like the Grapes of Wrath, but for Broadway.
Right. Well, does this
The Depression, because
Right.
it was 1929 and it hit everything.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
one could argue that burlesque during the 50s and 60s, they certainly brought up stand-up comedians because they were starting to host shows.
And the same thing
Jazz
came
clubs.
before. The same thing,
Right.
the clash of the politics and the race before. If you remember the Dustin Hoffman film,
Lenny. Yeah.
Lenny, yeah.
Absolutely.
you get a huge education as about then and now. If you just watch Lenny, I don't have to say anything.
Right.
Right.
I don't
find
do
that
politics.
this.
I don't do
this-
politics.
Oh yeah.
No.
We're not asking to. Do you find that this new normal of communication that we have to do like right now, you're basically acting without an audience present? Is that actually are you finding a comfort zone in that? It's hard for us, I can tell you, because we're used to being face to face.
Timing?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, timing's so different.
You're trying to time the reaction. You're trying to time what people would think. You're trying to how would I feel? You have to count. You have to time it. It's because comedy is timing, and so is drama.
Absolutely.
Was it Mel Brooks or somebody that I don't remember who was it that told me the thing? This is comedy versus drama. Ready? Drama. To be or not to be. Comedy. To be or not to be.
Right. That takes me back to
Yeah.
I wanted to ask too, when we were talking about just to go back to Mel Brooks, you were obviously Blazing Saddles was super formative to you. What was the
History of the World Part 2?
Oh,
yeah,
that's
History of the World
absolutely.
Part II with oh my God.
Just his career is formative, really. But what was it like when you got that call? When you got to work with him?
Well, Academy had just come out, and people were still scratching their heads about it. And Mel had hired me to come in to do a couple of days' work because he was over on the MGM lot over at Culver City Studios. It was a Columbia. So it was MGM lot at the time, and I was just there to be there a couple of days and just maybe come up with a couple of scenes that they would work out when we got there. So that day and a half, 2.5 days ended up being 2.5 weeks because Mel kept everybody around because he knew that he could feed off the energy and he could come up with something in case he had to cut pages, which he had to do.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you heard the famous story about the time they're all like, they're all trying to work. Everybody's trying to work. Everybody's doing the work. It's the first day for one of the first days of shooting, and they sent a young exec down there, with a note to tell him that he was 3 pages behind. It was the first or second day or something. They were telling him he was 2 or 3 days behind. So they sent the young pimply faced exec down there, and I kind of in the edge of my mind kind of remember this where the guy walks up. He had the Brooks Brothers suit on, or the Sears suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's a Roebuck. Had the Sears suit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You could tell the stitches,
heavily starched.
Yeah, the 4 stitches where the patches came. Remember?
Right.
Yeah.
The sample patches.
At least at Men's Warehouse, they took that off. So,
Yeah.
he walks up.
Excuse me, Mr. Brooks. The studio want me to let you know that you're 4 pages behind.
Oh, really? I'm 4 pages behind, am I? Bring the script over here.
Oh, shoot. Here we go. Here it comes.
4 pages?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 4 pages off the script. Get off my set. Now we're on time. We'll make it up.
Incredible.
And there was the other time when he and the DP were talking about something. I can't remember what it was, and they were trying to remember what it was that was supposed to be done first. He goes, "I told you, I told you, we have to do the intern. We have to do the cover shot first. Winslow, what did I say before? You said, well, hang on, shut up. Ask you anymore. The last time I asked you."
Now, were you doing this impression on set to him?
But because he and the DP were talking about, well, we were supposed to do it. Wait, I told you that one first. Winslow, what did I say before we started? Well, you said, never mind.
Oh, amazing.
I just like.
Was there any? I know. I watched your Laugh Finder performance. Number one, we've been on Laugh Finder. You did talk about there was stuff coming out of Spaceballs. That's true?
Oh yeah. There's some cutting room floor stuff. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Like not story. We're talking jokes, right?
Oh, stuff that the studio's like, no.
Okay.
No.
That's amazing.
Because at the time, Alan Ladd Jr. was the head of the studio, of MGM at the time. He said, "No, I know you, Mel. No, we're not going to put this in here." Nice try.
Even with his reputation, he couldn't. They still question.
Seriously, because there's some stuff when he said, "Maybe you're right. Maybe that was too much." Even he's going, "Well, I don't know." Yeah, there was a smoking scene where. I don't even know if it's still in the movie. I think they cut it out where after Dark Helmet hits, he hits the control panel and his helmet is smashed in. He goes, "You okay? Are you okay, sir?" "Yeah." He goes, "Smoke him if you got him," and he falls over. The scene that was attached to it was we all pulled out Spaceballs cigarettes.
Spaceballs brand cigarettes?
Yeah. We all started smoking
cigarettes.
Which were actually remember those really nasty chalky cigarettes, those chalk.
Terrible candy, right?
Yeah. So those were in there. So we all
look like
started
Miracle Grow.
Yeah. So when you said smoke, we all started pulling out Spaceball cigarettes. We all started smoking. All of us, everybody started smoking because he said to. And the guy goes, "Hey, you don't smoke." He goes, "Look, man, if he says smoke, my ass is smoking." No way. Didn't make cut.
Really? Okay.
There's a few other scenes like that.
Yeah.
That would have been that's like early 90s, right? So that would have been like
Spaceballs late 80s.
right during the
Spaceballs was 85, 6.
no, you're right. But it would have been late.
It would have just brought more controversy because there was one scene where when he's just having his Mr. Coffee, Rick Moranis is having his Mr. Coffee, and he goes, "Whoa, where's my radar?" And the guy goes, he goes right to the next one. "Mr. Radar's right there. There you are, sir." He goes, "Oh, I know that, right?" So he goes, "Switch to Teleview." So he goes, and suddenly it's a bunch of Hasidic folks in spacesuits going, "Oh no, not Teleview, you idiot! Teleview." "Sorry, sir."
Oh God.
See,
yeah. I mean, you can't. You're right. I got you.
Yeah, that did not translate.
That's Blazing Saddles level stuff.
Yeah, Jamel, pull it back, baby.
I mean, that's Blazing Saddles level stuff. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's no.
It's not surprising, but maybe made the right choice. Yeah. Right.
But hey, what can I say? It was the 80s. We did some stupid stuff in the 80s. I'm trying to figure out how we are still alive.
That kind of brings us back a little bit to what we were trying to say before, because me and John have been arguing for years over our favorite Police Academy, maybe a decade over our favorite Police Academy movies.
Yes.
But I'm not going to ask that just yet. I wanted to ask, what's the favorite thing? What is one of your favorite things you ever got to do, crazy things you ever got to do in the movies? Because I would say Jones kind of does the craziest stuff in the movies.
You've been on a fan boat.
Yes, I've been on a big fan boat.
The kung
Yeah.
fu scenes. You
Kung
got
fu
Hendrix.
scenes.
You know,
I actually did water stunts, so I got to work with Dar Robinson, the stunt master.
that was for 3. That was for back in training.
Before he passed away. So I got to work. I got to do a underwater stunt with Dar Robinson. So, and the fight scenes were done. The fight scenes were well done because we had fight coordinators. We had people come in and actually teach us, train us. So the first academy, we actually partly went through that course for real, because they set it up, so they made us run it.
Well, one thing,
there wasn't enough room, for everyone to do the shooting, the gun range scene. There wasn't enough room, for all of us to be in the gun. Right. So they decided to go with essentials. So Hugh Wilson learned, we have to go to the essentials of what we know is going to work. So
right.
The shooting gallery scene, it was Tackleberry. In Harris, where all of a sudden everybody else's target is fine, but we scroll over to Tackleberry's and his target explodes because his gun was bigger. And this son, where did you get this gun? My mom got it for me.
How was it working with GW?
Do you mind if I borrow it for a little while? Sure.
Right.
So, but that was we learned to do just essentials. So we didn't try to over. That's Hugh Wilson was talking about that. How if the script is funny, don't you force it to be funny.
Right.
Don't you make it be funny. You let it teach you what it's supposed to do. If the script is already funny, don't make it be funny.
Right.
I get that, but when you're working with like G.W. Bailey and stuff like that, and oh my God, of course George Gaines, who's
absolute genius, right?
Who had a career in the 50s and 40s and 50s,
right?
And 60s before we even came along.
I was
Punky Brewster
fan.
Punky Brewster, right,
man.
Oh, good.
And he was in Tootsie.
Yes, right. Yes,
Tootsie.
He was the guy that was hitting on Dustin Hoffman's female character.
right.
Man, he wasn't leaving her alone. Oh, so George was a seasoned guy, so I kind of gravitated towards him and GW and everybody because those were Broadway trained, and George spoke 6 languages. He was an actor in Europe, and
wow,
long before this, and GW I had seen in MASH as Lieutenant Rizzo.
I remember him from St. Elsewhere. Like
I remember him from Mannequin,
playing the psychiatrist.
That's right. So all these young faces, man. I'm going, hey, this is a trip.
Absolutely.
That must have been great working with those guys. And
some heavy hitters too. Yeah.
Did they ever impart any advice to you or anything like that during the Police Academy series?
I remember one time Bubba Smith took his hand and put it around my neck and was able to close his fingers with one hand. And he said, you ain't gotta make these noises all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God.
A gentle giant.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And Bubba Smith was pretty formative in my childhood because I remember him from so many things, especially Police Academy, but also Married with Children. A couple of things. I didn't as a kid. I'm of the age.
Burt Reynolds movies and Stroker Ace.
Yes,
Stroker Ace, absolutely.
I knew Bubba Smith as an actor, as a comedy actor.
Yeah, and Blue Thunder with Dana Carvey.
Right.
And Dana, I'd worked with years ago on the big laugh offs in San Francisco.
Oh, that's
before Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, he's all impressions. So you guys got to be kind of in sync there, right?
It was a weird mix, because that was my San Francisco days.
Did you have a nemesis impression guy? Was there another guy that was?
Yeah, could anyone equal Michael Winslow? I don't think they could.
But everybody had their own. Everybody had their own areas that they would concentrate on. Yeah. So there was always somebody who didn't like something.
Well, it was like Gypsy, right? It was like everybody had their gimmick.
Everybody had their thing. Yeah. But I remember running into some of the folks when we did Gremlins, and we had to sign a release for that. I wasn't allowed to talk about that, and we weren't allowed to see each other's scenes, and we really were not allowed to talk about it in Gremlins. You know, we weren't allowed to talk about any of it, even after he came out for a while.
That's crazy.
We couldn't see the whole thing. We could only see the scenes we were in, and we couldn't talk to anybody else about the stuff that we saw.
It was that secretive. Okay.
Because
was it they didn't want to reveal the look?
Good. Spielberg was so good at it, and the stuff he made. That every time the day he would put something out, or a week before, somebody would do a knockoff, or a rip-off film, or a knockoff film, and that made him mad. He said, "Enough of this. NDAs for everybody. You couldn't even get a script without signing for it, and even then, you didn't get the whole script. You got the scenes you were in. That was it. And then from that point on, it became everything else. Same thing for Roger Rabbit. Same thing for everything, because people kept doing knockoffs.
Yeah, people kept.
Well,
doing Jaws. I mean, there was.
Gremlins has how many knockoffs? So yeah, he's completely right if he wasn't. And that's the reason that you weren't allowed to talk about it, even.
Nobody could talk about it because this was Gremlins. The first time Gremlins. This is the first Gremlins movie, and people were just waiting to see what he was going to do because people were going to do it. They were going to say, "Oh man, whatever he does, we're going to do something similar," you know, because they knew he was a sure bet. Spielberg, man.
Right.
So
In the 80s?
that's the way it was. So Gremlins didn't come out until it came out, and he did a great job of keeping his cards close to the chest, so to speak.
And you had
we're playing poker, man.
Right.
When studio releases, you're playing poker.
And you were doing voices for that. How many? That was like around Academy 2 or 3 when Gremlins was being filmed.
No, way before.
It was way before that. Was it?
Oh, it was before Gremlins. I mean, before Academy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was way before. I was still freelancing, trying to get a job. You know, living in my car at the time, and I think that's the time that I got to be the fly in Robin Williams' movie Popeye.
Oh,
I'm actually a fly
in Popeye.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. So you worked with, yeah.
But that was over at Lionsgate, or when they had their own little studio, and they were this little upstart, studio that everybody,
Did you
But
get
they're
to
pulling it
cross
off.
paths with Robin?
I used to run him at the Comedy Store,
Oh, amazing.
and more so than the Improv. I didn't see him at the Improv very much, though I was there so often. But it was the store mainly. He would make the rounds. Everybody would make the rounds of testing material.
well, that was back when they were very territorial at that point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you worked at one, you couldn't work the other. Well, that's a whole nother thing, man.
Yeah, that's
The whole.
But see, I came up. I remember me and Sam Kinison talked about that. Because Sam and I came up together sometimes. We did some stuff together. And it was a trip because Sam was trying to find his way too, and Robin. If you get those stand-up folks that we could afford it, had we worked in the daytime, but we had to pay for classes, to get into the great classes, the people that would teach you, the Harvey Limbeck classes, which is where Robin went.
yeah.
And for a while I was at Harvey's, but I didn't take the same class as Robin because no one would compete because nobody wanted to follow Robin.
yeah.
And we had Peggy Fury and Jared Barclay. There were lots of different acting schools and teachers, folks that would take you and train you. But I remember watching Robin arguing with the improv teacher in 4 different languages at the same time.
The same time.
He's arguing with the dude from the stage. He's arguing with the 4 different, and we're going, oh, jeez. I ain't taking his class. I mean, I would take any other one in the week, man. Robin, you crazy. That's genius, and I ain't following him.
I can.
I can't imagine. That's yeah.
Only person that could follow him was Jack Marion, the comedian who could follow him.
Oh yeah.
Nobody wanted to try. It was like, no.
Well, he was much like your town. He's kind of unseen or heard of ever in history or the future, right? I mean, there's only one Rob Williams.
Last time I saw him was on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. I saw him. The last time I saw him was Robin, Terrence Howard, Brooke White from American Idol, and me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the last time I saw him, he was mellow. He seemed to be cool.
Go ahead, John.
You guys have a lot of you guys have a lot of similarities with like I brought up before with your physicality on stage and being able to do your set. Does it ever like doing all those voices, doing all the sound? Does that take a lot out of you as far as
Of course.
trying to maintain it for 45 minutes, an hour?
Like it almost, yeah. I would assume that you
Sometimes
almost
an
have
hour
to
and a half,
breathing
2 hours.
exercises.
If you have a band, sometimes it's an hour and a half to 2 hour show, depending on who I'm working with.
God
A
damn.
lot of music now. So it does. So I am gonna have to be back in shape because we are slowly but surely heading our way back out. Some states were able to do things, some casinos were able to do things, but they have HVACs,
Right.
and HEPA systems. So it's slowly rolling its way around, and there are ways to do it, but now it's a distanced performance.
Are you doing drive-in shows? Any like thing like that?
Probably.
Okay.
More than likely, guys. I've done them overseas already.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
For the UK, I've done the Great British Drive-In, the Great Britain Drive-In. We did that already, where we had Q&As. We're on the screen. We can ask people. They can ask us questions, and if they liked it, they can honk their horns.
Nice.
So I've done it.
There's a clapping. It's kind of like clapping.
Oh yeah, you can hear.
Yeah.
You can hear everybody, and you can hear those horns for sure. If you tell everybody to honk their horns, they're going to do it. So
Yeah.
I would love to.
And you're the only one that can honk back, right? You're the only
Exactly.
performer that can. Right.
Everybody.
God damn it.
So
Was not expecting it.
Yes.
So they did respond, and you could hear them honking like crazy. So so I know that it works. The model works. So I'd love to. I'd love to start doing those.
It'll roll out eventually. It has to. It's
Yeah,
natural time.
it's in
It's
the
ebb and flow.
just now.
Yeah.
What do you consider the most annoying sound, personally?
To your own ears.
Your own ears.
Your own ears. Yeah. If you don't have to make it. We're just asking.
Throw an alarm clock out.
You can make it if you want. I
mean, obviously, if it's too detestable to even utter, we would not.
No, it ain't like that. It's more of an effect sort of thing.
Okay.
It's more of a.
Oh.
So it's kind of from Popeye, right?
This movie called The Fly when I was growing up, when I was a little kid. This movie called The Fly came on. I was asleep on the couch.
The 50s one.
We're talking about 19 around there. Okay, I was a little kid. I was asleep on the couch, and that frickin' scene came up where Vincent Price, as the Fly, is stuck on a spider web, and they're just coming around the corner, and they're seeing he's going, "Please help me! No! Help me!
It's the warbling, isn't it? It's the warbling voice of it.
Woke me up. I'm listening to the spider, and I'm going, what? And the guy takes a rock and smashes them both. I'm like, what? I was mad at Vincent for a long time after that.
I can imagine.
Absolutely.
And then he worked at Michael Jackson, and then it was okay.
Yeah.
Turns out Michael wasn't crazy because he's wearing masks for everybody else.
That's true.
He was ahead of the curve there.
Yeah,
he was.
He was wearing a mask before everybody. And now everybody said he was crazy, but now they're wearing masks. The only difference was Michael would paint lips on his mask. So I understand.
Give him a...
Yeah.
It still was a mask. It still was covering his face.
You're right, but he out there.
Right.
No, I got
you. And you're saying he was in Moscow when you were in Moscow, or he?
Remember when Michael Jackson went to Russia to do a live performance?
That was when everybody was doing it.
That was like a normal thing back then.
Moscow performance.
Right.
That was when, and I believe Billy Joel had gone out there.
Billy Joel had a huge concert.
Michael went before.
Yeah,
he was there
before all them.
So.
He was like the first guy. It was
right, and that was the year we were there making Academy.
No, wait. The first people to play Moscow, I think, was No, I'm thinking of China. Never mind. Duran Duran.
Little different, John. Little
No. I watched a documentary of how Queen got,
I remember
got
Simon Le
aced
Bon.
out by Duran Duran for
Yeah,
doing China.
remember
No, it was Wham. It was Wham.
Wham UK.
Wham.
Wham UK. Right.
Yeah, Wham
Yeah.
edged out Queen from doing China because
Man,
Wham made inroads that Queen was too sexual.
Yeah, that's what did it.
Yeah, that's what did
That's
it.
what did it.
One for him, it was like Elvis's hips, man.
Yeah, all they did was show.
This is too much.
They just showed him in
Yeah.
those short shorts, and they were like, "No way, no mas, you're not playing the wall." So,
No,
it's-
we'll give that to Pink Floyd first. Yeah, they do.
yeah.
I mean, Jackson had a touch of that.
I miss that sound, man. I miss that analog sound, man. And that's where I've.
Have you ever?
That's kind of always what you've held up.
I am a
Max,
folk
right?
stage. You know, I still do stuff analog, but there's a digital encoding.
Right.
Do you have you ever seen Pink Floyd live? Now that they do the entire wall.
I've seen the performances though. I missed a couple of opportunities to see them, see Steely Dan and a few other folks. You know, but
Yeah.
I did get to see Sting when the Police were the Police.
That's cool.
When they were
Okay.
just getting started. I said, these three guys are gonna make a lot of noise.
Absolutely.
They were just getting started. Roxanne had just come out.
You didn't go see the Police because you felt an obligation, being you were in police.
Police Academy.
But that was
Come on, man.
that was 3-4 years before Academy even came around.
I was gonna say that had to be
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
That was like 78.
So it could it be considered?
The police had just, and Roxanne had just come out, and Synchronicity. When I went to work on the first Academy, Synchronicity had just come out.
Damn.
Okay. Damn,
Okay. Well, color.
Miles Davis was still alive, and he was. I remember when Miles Davis was living in Malibu, and he had bought a brand new Ferrari, and he had his attorney send a letter to all the cops in the Malibu district saying, Miles Davis has bought a Ferrari. Leave him alone. And I'm going, that's ballsy.
I didn't know Miles Davis was a jazz performer because I saw him on Miami Vice.
Right.
Right.
He was the guest
Right.
star on Miami Vice.
Yeah.
Right.
On Miami Vice and Glenn Fry and Henley. Everybody,
Blues. Everybody was doing that.
everybody's going, wait a second, who are these guys? Who are the Eagles, you call them?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing I not to change the subject so harshly, but I want to get it in because I know, we're getting to the end here, I think.
Okay.
You do something you do maybe you're the only person I've ever seen do bad lip syncing without recording.
Yeah,
Like you do it live.
People are starting to copy that now. I knew sooner or later people were going to get around.
Oh, I haven't.
Technology finally caught up to me, but that's okay.
Yeah, but you do it without technology.
Correct. That's right. I do. Damn you. Your kung fu is very good.
I guess I always wanted to ask, did they know that you could do that before they wrote those scenes?
Never. No idea.
I always figured that they figured that you could do.
If Jackie Chan ever want to make another movie, let me in, man. I don't care I don't care if it's The Foreigner or not. I'll go to Ireland. I don't care. That movie was wild.
Right.
Wasn't it?
It was.
Jeez, unexpected. But you see,
I always wondered where the kung fu bent of Jones came from. I always figured it was maybe you.
It's
you
like
do
a
that.
natural thing.
watch
Yeah.
every Bruce Lee movie, every Wu Ping movie. You watched everything that ever came out, man. Because back then, it was in the 70s and 80s. It was Black Belt Jones with Jim Kelly.
Right.
Yeah.
After Enter the Dragon came out, Black Belt Jones came out, and then there was Three the Hard Way. Then there was Sheba Baby, Friday Foster, Coffee,
Mm-hmm.
Batman Bolt, Truck
And that-
Journey.
And Jones always kind of played off that
Yeah,
blaxploitation.
I mean, if you look at the first scene in Academy, Jones is in handcuffs. What did he do?
Right.
He did something to get himself put in handcuffs and put in that chair. So obviously he was starting stuff before they even met.
Before he even did anything.
Yeah, he was already starting stuff. So but back then we were watching all the cartoons, and Hong Kong Phooey was one of the
Right. Yeah.
Kung Fu Dog, and Inspector Gadget wasn't out for 10 years yet. Not to the 80s.
Right.
I had the lunchbox.
Uh-huh.
I just always liked how it progressed along with the series. Like you became more and more of the best fight. Like as far as like these movies are kind of low-key action movies and they never get credit for that.
Right.
You kind of became the action star of the series.
There were action dramas. The first one
Yeah.
was an action drama. It was an action comedy drama.
Yeah, and
I mean, look at
And it
number
was rated
3.
R too.
Look at number 3 and 6. Even like they're action movies. Yeah,
Yeah, they were.
They
They were. And the first one was an R because of the shower scene.
yes,
right.
Because people were still scratching their heads about Porky's and Animal House. People were still scratching their heads about that.
Well, clearly they thought what was bringing them in the door was the tits.
Yeah, because Animal House, because Belushi and everybody was just catching on fire.
Right.
And Animal House had just it had come out, and they were working on other things. They were trying to work on some other things, and I remember they'd gone from National Lampoon magazine to National Lampoon movies
Right.
because the magazine got in trouble for that
Dog cover.
Yeah, if you don't buy this magazine, we're gonna shoot this
Shoot the
dog.
dog in the head. Right.
Yeah, and the dog
Right.
is like, and then they made the mistake of messing with Liza Minnelli.
Well,
Yeah.
just like
She was after the man. Wow. What do you leave? Oh man, guys, really? Jeez. Because back then,
they
Mad,
created-
Mad Magazine was trying to get a piece of the action, and Sick Magazine and Cracked and Wired, was just coming up.
Yeah,
those magazines created their own like style brand, didn't they?
Sick
Back then?
Magazine.
But then again, they created their own style brand back then. But then again, you could also say Police Academy did.
It did.
How many knockoffs of police? Like just like Gremlins had its knockoffs.
Oh
my
my
God.
god!
How many Police Academy knockoffs?
Ninja
Yeah.
Academy,
Ski Academy, Ski School.
There's
Like,
an airline
they're still making
stewardess
it.
one.
Still doing it.
Yeah,
Still to this
People
day.
are still making them, but it has a chance. It has a chance if it wants to. So we'll see how the new sale between the merger with AT&T and Warner's works out.
Yeah.
In the meantime, playing field's changing. Time to make your own.
Make your own Police Academy.
Make your own movies in general.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy does.
Make sure it looks right.
I do sometimes,
Yeah.
but sometimes when we're not all locked in our houses.
Well, when you
Yeah.
can have actors,
When you can have people, yeah. When we're not all on Zoom.
So I guess we're gonna be Blade Runner in the rest of the next couple of years. It's gonna be like space age Blade Runner stuff.
Right.
Well, San Francisco is orange at the moment, so
It literally looks like Blade Runner.
it looks like Blade Runner.
still and stand by for government-inflicted decontamination.
Hey, watch it down there.
Sorry.
I mean, I was gonna ask what
You're not decontaminating that.
that's kind of what 2020 sounds like, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're right. Oh man.
My favorite
Well,
part of Blade Runner is Harrison Ford ordering 4 meals from a guy in a noodle place, and the noodle guy is
Arguing with him.
understandably confused that this guy's ordering 4 noodle bowls.
I want 4 noodles. What do you want? No, 4, 2. Coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 2. EA. Huh. All right. Only 2. Okay. And some noodles. I know we got 2. Hi.
Yeah, but this is how we're
Hey,
introducing
what do you say?
our hero
Oh, that's how I know.
You're introducing the hero by eating like
by being a
6
moron. who
meals
can't
worth of
order
carbs.
Goddamn Chinese food order, for God's sakes.
And the guy goes, they don't advertise for murders in the paper. They don't advertise for killers. That's me. Sushi. That's what my ex-wife called me. Cold fish.
You're even nailing the disinterestness. Towards
Sushi? That's what my ex-wife called me? Cold fish?
I was gonna.
Damn.
You're fucking incredible, man.
Damn. It's like that trivia question. What are the first 2 words in Apocalypse Now?
I don't actually know.
I'll give you 10 seconds.
Fucking Saigon. I'm in Saigon again.
You're close.
Oh. Oh shit. It's like I'm in Saigon. No.
The first sign. Remember, was it Martin Sheen?
Martin
Yeah.
Sheen, yeah.
He wakes up from a nightmare in the scene. He wakes up in the very beginning and he opens the door and you hear him. Saigon. Shit. That's the first 2 words in an Academy Award-winning
movie. But it's so prophetic about the movie itself.
Yeah.
Because after he said that, he goes, "I'm still in Saigon," because he's having a nightmare.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. that's see, I remember people complaining how nobody knows how to write anymore. Well, I understand that.
Yeah.
Just based on that.
Yeah, just how you can let a scene play itself.
Right.
Well,
How you can just let the act of not saying something say a lot. Those moments, it's the timing. It's just style, I guess.
And that's what we kind of lose sometimes with this.
I mean, I'm fine with today's movies, but
yeah,
every character does not have to either fart, exude lasers, or explode.
it's not all
And
spectacle.
we're talking about kittens, so.
Is it asked that? Yeah. What kind of? Is there anything that you enjoy to watch yourself to intake?
Oh, I enjoy it all because
Yeah.
I appreciate the craftsmanship of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed Hobbs and Shaw because I could tell that a stand-up they hired some stand-up comedy writers to come in and help them with the insults.
Right.
yeah.
And I appreciate Avengers Assemble because of the universe and them wrapping the story up and now that gives DC a chance to come out and shine.
Yeah, finally, we're gonna see a Suicide Squad movie. We're gonna see
And Michael Keaton gets to come back.
Michael Keaton's coming back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to see some things, and now that the playing field is changing itself, we don't know where everything's going. But for those of you young directors, male and female, from the Cindy Williamses and the young Spielbergs and Georges and folks out there, keep an eye on it because the landscape is changing.
It's really getting different.
And the tech is in our hands because you can walk around with a TV station in your hand now.
They do walk around with it. They have it right there. It's
Yeah.
all there. You know, you
To
can
be
record your own
perfectly
album.
honest, I think.
But are you going to put in the hours and the work to
learn how to do it?
and really refine what you're doing,
Right.
or is everything an F and a U with lots of screaming?
Yeah. Organically, I think that out of all of this, a lot of people are going to come out ahead. And as talented as you are, I know that the noise casting is going to be incredible.
We're going to do a lot. I'm just keeping an eye on what's going on now, and
It's perfect for the median too.
we don't know what the new rules are, so we're just going to have to wait and see.
Can't wait for it. And
Time flies when you're having none. So.
That's true. That's true.
Well, I was gonna say, what I was gonna tell you at the beginning is me and John have been arguing for years over our favorite Police Academy movie.
Just say it.
No.
Say it.
I've always said I love Police Academy 2 the most. He says 5, but I feel like we're not asking because you've already answered this question. We don't need an answer, John. That's the answer.
I'm happy that I had a job.
We're happy you had a job too. Believe me.
Yes.
Happy that I got an opportunity to break the rules in an organized manner.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I got lucky along the way with a lot of folks who are still continuing to this day to assist and contribute to my life is now, because without those movies, I would never have traveled this planet 38, 40, 50 times around the planet and still have the opportunity to do so, in the future. Right. So we still have all those fans, and now the beatbox is an art form now, a worldwide phenomenon in art form.
Yeah.
I got to tell you something. There's a beatbox artist that is traveling the world right now. He never heard of you. And
really?
I gave him
what's his name?
Your live CD is Shotokai. You know him. He travels. Yeah, he travels the world. He's doing Mongolian throat. He's
Mhm.
touring with Mongolian throat singers, oddly.
Right. I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's incredible. And I, for a period of 6 months, had your CD in my car, or your DVD in my car, and I was gonna give it to him. And I constantly would meet him at parties, and then I'd go, "Shit, I gotta give you this DVD." And then he would duck, or he would go somewhere, and then I'd be like, "Oh crap!" And then I'd meet him at another party, and then give him the anyway.
Oh,
Sure.
You can't be the only guy to have that thought.
So he-
Somebody's
so he-
going to give him
Yeah.
Michael Winslow's.
he'd never seen a
He
police
never
academy.
heard of it, and then
Yeah.
I finally gave him the DVD, and he watched it cover to cover. He learned so much, man. And I just gotta say, I don't know if you're responsible for his incredible talent, but I will say that you are.
It's good that folks are
Well,
paying attention. At least I know folks are paying attention.
The guys that you've inspired, honestly, just doing and having so much fun with it. You make it look
Fun, you do.
and it's
It can be.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just a
It looks effortless, but we know it's not
effortless,
We
organic.
know it isn't, though.
We know it's a lot
Yeah.
of work, but
Yeah.
you are someone that we respect greatly, and we
I
want
think.
Yeah. Yes.
everything.
Seriously. Thank you for being here with us. And I can't tell you, we're the two of us are friends, and Police Academy is something we bonded over years ago.
Yes.
So, and it's something that means it's formative for us, and it just means so much. And I really appreciate you coming here today. Talk to us.
Thank you for having me on your show, and please stay in touch with us. And Seth will, a mad scientist, will let you know what's going on, and along with Noisecast, there'll be some music releases because I've finally been pushed into the corner. I have no choice but to release music now.
Right.
So we'll go ahead and put those out and see how and I have some stuff that's floating around already. On Noisecast, there's some things, but also on Instagram and on.
What's your Instagram handle?
Michael_Winslow or Michael Winslow.
Okay. And does Noisecast have a specific website?
And Noisy Man is Noisy Man on Twitter.
Okay.
You can find Noisecast under Apple Podcasts.
Okay.
I think it's also on Spotify. It's around, but that was the first generation, and now we're going to, hey, what can I say? I was a Trekkie back when Shatner had hair. So like I said, we're going to pick up where we left off, because growing up, I couldn't, you only had the time in the week when it came on. So my brother made me watch Star Trek when I wanted to watch the monkeys. See,
I was a Monkeys guy myself, to be honest. with you.
See, you already talking about. So, we already had this clash of cultures going on.
Right.
So, hey, man, I was into the Monkeys, man. That was what was up. And then other people tried to do knockoffs of the Monkeys.
Right.
There were all kinds of groups that tried and stuff that we never heard about. And then the Monkeys produced a movie called Head.
I love Head. I love it.
Jack
And Frank Zappa.
There's no movie like it. No movie like it.
It was just
None.
insane, and no one's been able to do it since.
So
Frank
that's
Zappa showed up in there,
Right. Hey, we're from Baltimore, so Frank Zappa.
Zappa, we
Come
have
on,
the head.
Yeah.
I just worked with Dweezil recently, a couple years ago. We did one of the live shows. He came to Orlando, so
That's
I would love to work with folks again and start doing music again. I just did a thing with Victor Wooten Trio with Dennis Chambers.
Okay.
And that's called a Tripnotics with a TRYP, TYX.
Okay.
So
Is there anywhere?
it's weird. I warn you now. I'm warning you ahead of time. Tripnotics is weird.
Weird is good. Weird is
And
good.
I just did it with John Anderson from Yes. I just did it
Dude.
on the new album Thousand Hands. There's a beatbox song called "Makes Me Happy," and if you go ahead and just go find it,
Go find that.
Yeah.
Well, and do you have anything else? That's everything. I want to make sure you plug everything
I
you
hope
do.
everybody decides to practice your noises. Keep an eye out for Noisecast. MichaelWinslowMedia.com, Instagram, Facebook, and we'll see how all this works. On YouTube, it's Michael Winslow TV. So we'll see how this all works out. I do wish everyone good fortune.
Yeah.
And we certainly wish you
Good luck. No.
Yeah, we wish
Good
you
fortune. Good fortune.
good fortune.
good fortune.
So
Thank
we'll
you
see
so
what happens.
much, Michael
and
Winslow.
just keep an eye out and
Much.
keep track of us, and we'll let you know how it all works out.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Thank
man.
you so much.
So
so
practice
good.
your noises. Practice your noises.
We'll try. We're not that good.
Not yet.
Not yet. But we got a lot of time.
It's okay. I'm only 40. We can start now.
We can start
Yeah.
now. Hey, it's never too late, John. It's never too
Hey.
late. Michael Winslow just told you to practice noises.
I will.
do it.
Yeah,
You just made it to the end of Shrimp Night, a casual chat show available only on the Thunder Grunt podcast.